Checkbook IRA LLC operating agreement. Hey everyone, Adam Bergman here, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial, and welcome to another episode of AdBits. Today's episode, I'm going to explain to you what is so important about the Self-Directed IRA LLC operating agreement. So before I get into the operating agreement, I'm going to just spend a few minutes explaining what is a Self-Directed IRA LLC, and then we'll get into the whole point of having an LLC operating agreement. So for all those listening or watching on YouTube that don't know what a self-directed IRA LLC is, don't worry, I'm going to explain to you. So a self-directed IRA is basically an IRA that lets you do alternative asset investments. So if you go to Schwab and Fidelity and ask them to buy real estate or invest in your friend's business or buy gold or to hedge fund, private equity, venture capital investment with your IRA, they're not going to let you do it. Why? They make money when you invest in assets they market and sell, like publicly traded securities, stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, bonds. That's how they make money. So they're able to essentially limit what you can buy in your IRA. As a IRA custodian, they have every right to do that. So the self-directed IRA world was born the same year IRAs were born, back in 1974, when ERISA created IRAs and 401ks, September 1974. The only difference is the self-directed IRA world, we're not broker-dealers. We don't give investment advice. We don't manage people's money. We simply unlock your retirement account and let you do what the IRS allows you to do, which is everything except three things. Section 408 does not allow you to buy life insurance or collectibles like art in your IRA. And then Section 4975C does not allow you to do any transaction with your IRA that directly or indirectly personally benefits you or any disqualified person, which is essentially your lineal descendants, parents, children, spouse, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, or any entities controlled by such persons 50% or more. Okay, so you can't take your IRA and buy yourself a watch, or take your IRA and buy your kids a car, right? The IRA investment must be done to exclusively 100% benefit your IRA. So self-directed IRAs are the most popular medium of using your IRA to do alternative asset investments like real estate. But since the late 90s, the concept of using a limited liability company, so an entity, special purpose entity, wholly owned by the IRA, managed by the IRA owner, me. So it's my IRA that owns this LLC. I manage it. And by managing and having an LLC, I'm accomplishing a couple tasks. Number one, I have limited liability protection, which is super important, right? That's why almost every business will set up an entity, whether it's a corporation or an LLC, to give you limited liability protection. Limited liability protection protects your assets outside of the LLC, not in the LLC, but all your IRA and other assets outside the LLC. So that's super important. It also gives you privacy, right? When you make the investment, it's not in Adam Bergman's name, but it's in an LLC's name, XYZ LLC. You also have more efficiency. You can get transactions done quicker. I don't need to go through the custodian to sign a subscription doc. I'll do it as the manager of the LLC. I can also pay the contractor, the plumber, the electrician quicker than if I have to go through the IRA custodian. Okay, so if you put all that together over the last probably, 25 years or so, 20 plus years, the self-directed IRA LLC has been a very, very, very increasing popular vehicle for alternative asset investors that want to use their IRA to make alternative asset investments to use and employ versus just a regular old self-directed IRA. There's no right or wrong which product works better for you or which solution is better and will satisfy your investment needs. It's really up to you. So if you do the LLC, obviously you want to go to a company like IRA Financial that has the experience, the expertise, and the know-how to get it done. Okay, so there's a couple things that go into the LLC, right? Number one, it has to be manager managed, not member managed. We'll get the tax ID number, but the operating agreement is very important. So an operating agreement is basically a document that is between the owners and the manager. It basically describes how the LLC is going to get operated or managed or controlled. It describes who has control, who makes decisions on anything related to the company. How are profits and losses and distributions made? Okay. Who can liquidate? Who can determine if more money is needed? Are there rules for adding money? Are there rules for prohibited transaction? Are there rules for payment as a manager? Do you maybe want a board of management? Right? There's a lot of different features and concepts that go in the operating agreement. The operating agreement is the most important document of the LLC. Now, it's technically not required. There's no penalty if you don't have an LLC operating agreement. You don't file it with the state or a formation. It's a private document. You don't submit it to the government, state or federal, but you better have one. Because if not, then you're going to basically defer to state statute to determine how things get done in your LLC. And you may not be so happy with what the state statute says. So you're going to want to take matters into your own hand and customize how you want your LLC to operate. And that's where we come in. So in the case of a IRA that owns 100% of the LLC, there's things that we want to do. Number one, we want to give the manager the ultimate control. Right? We don't want the member, the IRA, to have any decision making because the IRA is not a person. So then you have to go to the custodian to actually get decisions made. So we're going to make sure it's manager focused, right? We're going to have all the language you need about prohibited transactions, UBIT, all the management member meeting requirements under statute. We're going to make sure that's there. Do you want additional contributions? What about liquidation? Now, what happens if you have an LLC with multiple IRAs or multiple parties? Even more important to have an operating agreement that's customized. You want a board of management. Who determines if there's additional capital contributions? Is there dilution? Is there right of first refusals, drag-alongs? Can you drag someone on a sale? Tag-alongs, right? These are all the concepts that need to be addressed in an operating agreement. And you can't just get one on the internet. I mean, you probably could, but it's not going to serve you well. And it's basically rubbish because it's not customized to your needs. So the IRA LLC operating agreement is specialized to an IRA. Getting a regular LLC operating agreement that you use with your partner to invest in a restaurant, that's not going to help you in the IRA world for a number of reasons. Number one, it's probably going to be member managed. Number two, you're going to have to deal with certain management criterias and the limitations on payments to managers. Thirdly, how profits and losses are allocated, cash distributions. You're going to need specific language on prohibited transactions, UBIT, disqualified persons. Is it liquidation based off positive capital accounts? If you want to get a little bit funky with your design and maybe allocate more to certain partners versus others, there's various tax economic substance concepts you need to keep in mind, especially on liquidation based off positive capital accounts, to make sure a profits interest, for example, is not granted subject to taxation. You can issue warrants, options. There's all this stuff that you could technically do as a client of IRA Financial that if you just pull the operating agreement off, the internet, it's not going to have those features. And God forbid something goes wrong, you won't be protected. And I've seen it over the years. I've seen it where the operating agreements are outdated, or you have issues where it's a husband and wife, they get divorced, their IRAs are in there, and it's a mess, and the operating agreement's basically not drafted properly. And I've had to take these over, and I refuse to, because if I'm like, I'm not drafting these operating agreements, and you won't use the operating agreement we work with and allow us to customize it, then I'm not going to work with you guys because I don't have any control, and I don't have the ability to assist and make sure that these future problems don't occur. So it's not hard. I'm not saying we got to spend thousands of hours built into our price, right? But if you want to get done right, if you want it done by tax attorneys that actually know what they're doing, and customize it, can put the bells and whistles and all the provisions you need in there, protect you and your IRA, and make sure that it stays within the confines of the tax code, then you got to work with reputable companies. And if it's not IRA Financial, that's fine, but make sure that you're working with the right company that understands, number one, has expertise in checkbook control and understands the importance of the operating agreement and can explain to you the provisions and obviously customize it for your needs. I mean, we've done a lot of very cool stuff where there's, Class B units, warrants, profits, interests, allocations, dilutions for pre-tax and Roth. A lot of really, really bespoke strategic maneuvering that can be done to get you and your retirement accounts in the most tax opportune space possible. So that's the importance of the operating agreement. It's the most important document. Anyone can set up an LLC. Anyone can get a tax ID number. The operating agreement is crucial. It's going to save you in terms of conflict. God forbid there's an issue with the partner or spouse on death. You want to make sure the operating agreement follows the beneficiaries in terms of successor management. There's just so much that goes into it that we've been doing this 15 years, and we update our operating agreements every year, especially now there's BOI, beneficial ownership interest, data that has to get done and included. So this is what we need. This is what you need. And, I think we do this stuff better than anyone. So if you are out there looking for a self-directed IRA LLC, just think about the operating agreement. You don't need to study every word, just work with the right company that can help you and get you the operating agreement that's best suits your investment needs and retirement goals. So that's it for today's AdBits. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, really appreciate it. Don't forget to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to this weekly podcast that goes into a bit of information on very specific self-directed retirement topics. So thanks for hanging out with me. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see everyone again next week. Thanks.